Very good morning to all of my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani and I warmly welcome all of you to StudyIQ. I hope you all are doing good. Dear friends, before I move ahead, please allow me to introduce all of you to our pen drive and tablet courses. We cover SSC, UPSC and other items as well. The range is here in front of you on your screen, and to find out more about it, just visit studyiq.com. With this, dear friends, the positive start for the day is that to start every day with new hope, leave bad memories behind and have faith for a better tomorrow. Very good and very funny as well, a picture that you find in today's Hindu. And I remember a couple of days ago a student asked me a question regarding what exactly a haircut means, right? So haircut in terms of finance or in terms of bank means that you have given out loan to someone, say for example 10 rupees. You have lended 10 rupees to your friend, and now your friend is not in a position to give you back this 10 rupees. So you sit down on table and then you think like, how much you can give me back, and finally you come to an agreement that that person, your friend, will give you back 7 rupees out of this 10 rupees. So this 3 rupees, say for example, you say there is nothing you can do about it, so you accept that this is a loss that you have to take. So basically this, you can call it a haircut. Out of this loan of 10 rupees, you have done a haircut of 3 rupees. I hope this thing is clear, and this picture as well regarding TDP and BJP. With this, dear friends, let's see what we have got in editorials today, or editorial and op-ed page. You have this one. It's if that door should shut down. It's about refugee and the stand taken by Attorney General in the court regarding in Supreme Court, additional Solicitor General. But basically it is a stand of Government of India, so we will go through it as well. This one is about limited score. It is pertaining to this elderly people and some interest relief that has been given to them. This one is about crisis in Maldives. This one is a political one. We are not taking this one on board. This one is based on journalism. This one is a bit good one. And this one is about purely medical one, right? It is about HPV vaccines and things like that. I have gone through it. It's more technical and it's more for medical students and people associated with medical field. So let's see. Let's go through all those this ones, right? The one that are relevant for our exam. The first one is about this budget 2018, right? This one says that budget 2018 does well to focus on senior citizens, but action must be broad-based. The thing is that whilst presenting this budget or during this budget presentation, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said that that we are going to care for those who cared for us, right? And this is one of the highest honor that we can pay to them. So basically it's about the people who have worked and now they are 60 or above, elderly people, right? Or you can say senior citizens. So you know that at present many of us are quite young and we are contributing in different ways in the economy, in our society, and a time will come, right, that we would be less productive, and knowledge wise we would be having experience, we would be more wise, information, knowledge and wisdom. All these three things, generally speaking, are part and parcel of your gray hairs. But the thing is, at that point of time, generally speaking, you have physical issues, right? Health issues are there. You are not that agile and mobile as we are at present. So of course, right, you have to have a source of income, isn't it? You cannot nowadays, the way things are going on, you cannot rely on someone else to look after you. So we see this sort of planning taking place, because at present we are a very young nation, no doubt, but a time will come we would be in the similar sort of situation where Japan or some other developed countries are at present. You know, countries like Japan, they have a huge population of elderly people, and the way things are changing in our country in terms of socio economy, right? The way things are changing. Marriages, they are getting a bit delayed. Earlier on, 23, 24, 25 was the ideal age of marriage. But nowadays, generally speaking, right, we see that the bar has been bit lifted up. It is 30, 33, and many times 35 as well is not common, or is not shocking. Earlier on, it was considered that now that person, may it be a man or lady, their age, or you can say their option, they are out of, if I may use the word, market, right? If they clock this age. But now things are changing, and so will the birth rate, isn't it? And so the whole this demographic, you can say, setup of our India is going to change, no doubt, and it has in fact changed, and it is constantly changing too. So we will reach a situation that youngsters, at the current youngsters, right, all of us will come to a stage where we will be a bit slow. We would need to rely on a sort of you can say fixed source of income, and it is important for the government, right? And when the government is saying that it is one of the highest honors, because these people at present who are 60 or 60 plus, right, they have given, roughly speaking, maybe 40 years on an average, right? 40 years of their life they have worked, and they have added something and something in economy. May it be bigger chunk or may it be smaller bit, it doesn't matter. Everyone has played a very important role in our economy, and whatever we are at present, right, they have played a crucial role. So it is better, as a country as well as a government, it is important for us to look after them, and it is matter of dignity as well, dignity to live. Because when you have to rely on someone, first of all, what happens, imagine a person who has worked throughout his or her life, and a person who is independent, financially particularly independent, and then you come to a stage that you have to rely on someone else. So it creates a sort of humiliation, right, within you feel guilty about it and things like that. But basically what government has done during this budget is that now, right, when you invest, when elderly people, right, when they invest or park their money, say for example in saving account or as bank deposits, right, then they do earn interest out of it. Earlier on, if you earn interest, then you were supposed to pay tax on it. So this was something like you have paid tax for 40 years, and now whatever your saving is in the bank, you are being taxed on that thing as well. So it was considered like a double tax, right? You are paying, already you have paid tax for that money, and now you are paying tax on this thing. And what used to happen is, because of too high tax on this thing, this elderly people, they were forced to park their money or invest in those baskets that were high risky. So many times they may run out of money too, isn't it? So this one is much safer one. So it's a good move for elderly people, and very important topic as well. This you may find a question on this demographic thing, because most of the time our focus is on young nation, but what will happen in the future, how we are planning our future, this is very important as a nation. Then Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandana Yojana, right, it is extended by 2 years till March 2020, and that it means under this budget it was announced that the cap as well is doubled on investment in the scheme to 15 lakh rupees. So that's basically everything that means we have discussed it in detail, no doubt. And here you have a couple of figures that 70% of 104 million elderly are at present living in rural hinterland. So we have to provide them as well some social welfare or some sort of social security, because most of the time you find that it's a bit informal in the villages, right? They will have saving nowadays. Everyone, generally speaking, they have account, but their saving is more in gold and things like that. So we have to work out a way and provide them a cover as well, so they become independent, because the way or the way of living in villages has changed as well, drastic changes have taken place in village life, countryside life too. And then you have this interesting figure here that nearly 1/5, right, or you can say 20% of Indian population by 2050 would be falling under this 60 or 60 plus category. So you can see this is the thing. So this is the reason why we are talking about this topic here. Now this one is about Malé. Malé is a capital of Maldives. You know, a couple of days ago we talked about this thing, Maldives. I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday. Can't remember exactly, but we talked about it in detail. I think it is the third or fourth time we are talking about this thing in last fortnight. Right, so basically what's it all about? See, if you go through the current situation or scenario, if you go through scenario of this country or island nation Malé. Malé is not far from India. Here is our country India, and here you see this is Kerala here, and you have this Lakshadweep Islands, and if you head southward straight down, then you find this country. This is Maldives, right? And this is its capital, Malé here. Now Maldives, I'm sure have seen Maldives in many different movies. Even if you don't know that this location is Maldives, then there are many films, and that is Maldives. Maldives is quite famous for tourism, and you can see equator as well passing from this Maldives. It was British colony. You find many tourists from Britain and other parts of Europe coming here, spending their time here, getting a bit of sunburn because it's equatorial country here, right, island, so they get their suntan and everything over here. So it is the main source of income for Maldives is tourism. The other thing is that from last couple of years, right, this thing is in controversy that see, as you know, this is a very small country. It is basically made up of small islands. It's an archipelago. And what happens that when you have limited land, now let me add one more thing, that not all these islands, right, you cannot live in all the islands, right? There are some islands made up, like they are basically a bit of the terrain is not fit, right? It is not plains, as you can understand. So not all of them you find heavily populated, and you have very limited piece of land. So it was in news that this government of Maldives, the current government of Abdullah Yemen, that they decided that they are going to lease Fafu Island to Saudi Arabia for a very long period of time. So again, the other thing that is, I'm just giving you background of this Maldives and current situation, because as you can see, it is a neighboring country. And the other thing is it is part of this SAARC group as well, right? Now we know Pakistan and India's rivalry, and this is creating hurdles for SAARC. But when you have this sort of situations going on, if the government is rogue in nature, when it is selling its limited piece of land to some other country, when you find that in terms of numbers, right, you know, this is not going to be a very populated country. But then as well, if you see the ratio of people joining ISIS from this country, then this keeps us means it is quite disturbing that this many youngsters are joining ISIS from Maldives. The other thing is that entry of this Saudi Arabia may lead to a bit of Wahhabism in Indian Ocean portion here nearby our country, and China as well is trying its level best. Recently this Maldives and China had their free trade agreement as well. And if you go through, I have gone through a bit of programs back in past, and there was a whole sort of sting operation done by Al Jazeera, very famous channel, Al Jazeera International news media channel. And in that program they showed like how this prime minister and president, how they are basically how they are doing all sorts of things that are not right. And at present, the way things are going on, Supreme Court recently, on 1st February, it cancelled this imprisonment of 12 parliamentarians. It includes the previous president as well. And the current president basically said that he or the government in fact said that don't listen to, they have ordered to the police people that don't listen to or don't follow the order of the Supreme Court. Imagine the situation here. A government is asking the police personnel not to follow and not to release the people who are behind the bar, or if they are in exile, then don't allow them to come in. If they come in, then arrest them and things like that. So this is the thing, and this is a serious political constitutional crisis, in fact, not political, constitutional crisis going on in Maldives. This is going to create instability here, and as I told you yesterday or day before yesterday, that the ex-president who is in exile at present, right, he was charged for terrorism, but that is not right, because the Supreme Court has basically said that all the charges, alleged charges, were wrong. That person was that ex-president is not involved in the act of terrorism at all. So as far as the Supreme Court of Maldives is concerned, ex-president is clean. And if you see the relationship between India and Maldives, or the ex-president, then he is basically inclined towards India, and the current president is inclined towards more for China, and corruption as well is quite high at present in Maldives. So it has pulled out of this Commonwealth group too, and we have already talked about this SARC. And it's quite interesting that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's decision, right, he decided to cancel his visit. I remember quite very well that at that point of time, Prime Minister visited Sri Lanka, Seychelles and Mauritius, and he was supposed to visit Maldives as well. But since then, relationship between India and Maldives are not that great. Earlier on, the relationship were very good, and then you have different angles as well. You have this South Asian angle as well as Indian Ocean region angle too, that we can add on this topic. So we will get more updates on this thing. Let's see, and let's go through this one too. And this one is about India cannot be so opaque, and it is talking about refugee crisis. Now very interestingly, right, this is basically said by Additional Solicitor General. I was a bit confused whether it was Attorney General or Additional Solicitor. Anyways, so Additional Solicitor General Tushar Mehta a couple of days ago said in the Supreme Court, he said that India can't be refugee capital, right. This was reported in the Hindu on the 1st of February. We have taken this news item on board. We discussed about this thing as well. Now the thing is that this statement is a very important statement. When Solicitor General or Additional Solicitor General, or when Attorney General, basically they are representative, or you can say advocates of Government of India in Supreme Court or wherever the cases are going on. This is the office, or Attorney General or Solicitor General basically represent government. So whatever is said by them, you can take it as it is said by, or it is the stand of the Government of India. So when they are saying that India can't be refugee capital, then the thing is that it displays, or it clearly indicates the vision of our country. And Mr. Mehta presented that vision in terms of what India should not be. He said that people from every other country will flood our country. He was basically talking about this Rohingya thing, and this is not a matter in which we can show any leniency. And in fact, it was also said that the court, right, should not step in. At present, we don't need courts to take any stand. Government of India is working on it, so step out of it. Indirectly, it's said to the Supreme Court. Okay, jolly well, never mind. Now let's see, let's break it down, and this is what this article is doing. It is questioning that how can Solicitor General or Government of India can use this term we. When we say we, are we talking in terms of constitution? In the preamble we say we the people of India. So the government or a law officer, when he uses we, has to mean those who have the power, right? He's not talking about the people, he's talking about the people who have the power, basically the people who are at in the ruling party, right, at present, and they are the ones who instruct this law officers, right? They are the means they are instructed. Of course, a sort of political touch is always there. You find it there when it comes to Attorney General or Solicitor General, whatever, etc. So this is the thing. This is a clear stand of or you can understand that this is a stand of ruling party. The other thing is that it reverses the ancient tradition of Janpad. Basically, right parties are known for whatever traditional thing is, generally speaking, right, traditions and all these practices, and most of the time you find this thing associated with right parties. And when Government of India is taking this stand, so it is basically stepping back, or it is taking a U-turn from our ancient tradition of Janpad. And when you'll go through history, basic history, then you will find this Janpad and Mahajanpad. Basically Jan, that nowadays Jan Dhan Yojana, Jan means people, and Janpad basically means people's kingdom, you can say, right? Something nearest, it's not the technically right translation, but something that in a kingdom in which, or a state in which people are respected, or you can say you have your rights and things like that. So Sarva Lok Shraya means everyone gets a sort of refuge or solace. This was the basic idea behind this Janpad. But if we go back in the history, and it's not only about medieval history, or it's not only about our ancient history, right? If we go through this medieval period, Zoroastrians, the Parsis, right? They migrated in India. They reached Gujarat, and I'm sure you might have heard about this milk and sugar story, that how these Parsis, when they reached the banks of Gujarat at that point of time, or coast of Gujarat, they offered a glass of milk to the king, and they basically added a bit of sugar in it, and then they explained that the way sugar has sweetened the milk, and it has basically mixed up with this milk, and without damaging the milk's property and things like that, and in fact making it more sweet. In the same way, we will mix up in your society. So a very beautiful story, right, associated with this Zoroastrian migrants. And post 1947 too, after independence, we saw this 7 million refugees from Pakistan, predominantly Sikhs and Hindus. 150,000 Tibetans are living in our country at present. They are refugees as well, including Dalai Lama. In 1971, millions from East Pakistan. A couple of days ago, we were talking about this thing, East Pakistan, basically Bangladesh after post 1971, Bangladesh. This earlier on, millions knocked the doors of India for shelter and other basic necessities because of all these atrocities that were conducted by the West Pakistan. And then you have this Tamils from Sinhala kingdom, or not Sinhala kingdom, but Sinhala or Sri Lanka. And then you have these Afghan refugees, nearly 10,000. Recently, a couple of years ago, we talked about this Baluch, and we started providing them support as well. So this is the thing, this is our history, right? This is a stand taken by our country, and this is the thing that has earned us a huge amount of respect. So we should not make a U-turn. Basically, we should take a stand. The people who are at present, this 40,000 people, based on on humanitarian ground, right? At least at present, they should be well looked after. Because the thing is, and I would like to add this thing here, that whenever you find this sort of situation, it becomes a breeding ground for these terrorist organizations, right? It becomes a breeding ground. So if they are well looked after, if they are provided all basic necessities, right, then there are high chances that we may avoid the problems that are happening in our neighborhood. And here is one more thing, that a common sense, a strong Indian trait would tell us that only those in India's neighborhood facing the dire prospect of victimization or death want India's sanctuary. When you are saying that people from every other country, this is not right. You won't find people from Africa coming over here. You will find only people from nearby countries. So we do share culture. We take a pride that we have a bit of, you can say, commonness within us. Then there is no harm of just giving them refuge and looking after them for time being. And of course, we can, at diplomatic level, we can try to find the best solution, or for their safe return. This is a situation that can be created by India, because India is a big brother as far as this SAARC, or you can say South Asia, is concerned. And William Blake wrote about 2 centuries ago that each outcry of the hunted hare a fiber from brain does tear. With this, dear friends, this one is about a large-scale vocational education system, something that is practiced in Germany, in China as well. That what they do is, whilst you are in school, you will be provided, say for example, let me give you example of China, right? What they do is they will give you this raw material, and then you have to make, they will provide you design and everything, and then you have to basically, there is a sort of workshop in your school, and you have to manufacture, say for example, toys or some components, right, and things like that. And it is given to, sorry, beg your pardon, this one is one for 14 to 18 years, right? 14 to 18 years age group, they are exposed to this sort of things, and this increases their entrepreneur skills. It gives them business skills as well, and very important for our country, because most of this means a huge number of 14 to 18 years adolescents, you can say, or teenagers in our country, they are out of school. Many of them, right, they are out of school, and in fact they are working. So if skills are provided to them at school level, and not only those who are dropouts, but those who are still pursuing their education, then this will create more effect. It means this will add skills, of course, and when they will, after their 18 years, it would be easier for them to find jobs, and it would make them more effective as well. With this, dear friends, we reach a news item. Alam Beg. This is a story, you can say, associated with 1857's this mutiny, or the first freedom struggle of our country. From here what it all started, but it is the Paika rebellion. That is the first one, right? I have to mention this thing because recently it was reported, and even human resource development ministry, HRD ministry, has accepted this thing, so we have to go through it. So just in case if you find in your exam that the first, this freedom rebel, so it is Paika rebellions, not this 1857's Mangal Pandey's mutiny. Anyways, there was a soldier called Alam Beg, and he revolted in this mutiny, and at that point of time this beheading was done. This is called trophy. So his trophy was taken back to England, and means it at present it is in England, and tries are being, means we are trying to bring it back and pay this soldier respect. With this this is a picture of this camel race of UAE, right? They are quite famous, and do go through this breed of the camel that you find, right? Different breeds of camel that you find in India. There is a very particular breed in our country that can swim as well. That camel can, you find them in Gujarat. There was a question, I think, a year ago in UPSC. So do go through this breed of this animal, camels, right? You find Bactrian, and there is another camel too. I will provide you things regarding it. Of course, I will I will share it with you, so don't worry about it. This is a picture that I found, so I thought this is important. And this one is about this Gulf of Guinea. We talked about it yesterday. Now the thing is that here you find helpline number, so just in case if you have anyone living over here, or if it is concerned to someone, then do share it with other people. Nowadays it is very easier to spread this sort of helpline number, so do take part in it, and it will help someone. You never know. Air India, not Air India, but US Air Force and Indian Air Force, they have decided, means USA has said that India can play a very important role. They are going to ramp up this operational cooperation in Indo-Pacific region. And China, you know that the way the China is stepping in Indian Ocean, so together we can sort or make sure that China is not being too aggressive. This one is a picture from Afghanistan. You can see the total number of attacks taken place, major attacks in 2018, and the situation is getting worse and worse as the days are passing by. Mega health plan may cost 1 lakh crore per year. This is about this recently launched this scheme. Government has launched the scheme that per family 5 lakh rupee cover would be provided, and this is going to cover 10 crore household, or you can say 50 crore people of our country, biggest in the world. Still we have to wait and watch for more of means we don't know the basic structure. It is just the scheme that government has given us, so let's give it some more time and we'll come to know about it. But yes, this is a very important topic, no doubt. And SEBI gets teeth to act. Earlier on SEBI was only able to give warnings, but the recent amendments, or the proposed amendments in fact, of Finance Bill 2018 will add more teeth. That means SEBI will be able to take punitive action. It can charge up to rupees 1 lakh per day for as penalty. So this is going to be brilliant for SEBI. Agriculture needs more than just quick fixes. This is about this agriculture credit has been increased to 11 lakh crore from 10 lakh crore, but we know that there are many things. Government has said that the focus of this budget, or 2018-19, would be agriculture and rural India. But as far as agriculture is concerned, it's not just about money. There are other things as well that we have to do. And this one is about olive ridley turtles. Not the first time we are discussing it. You find it in Odisha at present. They're about to lay their eggs in this Rusiculia rukri in Odisha, and remember, they are endangered turtles. You find them in Arabian Sea as well. You find them in the Bay of Bengal too. So keep this thing in mind, and these are your answers, these are your questions. And make sure you check StudyIQ.com. With this, dear friends, I will see you all soon. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. Please do give us your like, pass your valuable comments, and do gift share this lecture with your friends as well. Once again, you would be able to download this PDF file, PDF lecture, from my Facebook page, from our Telegram channel, and from our website as well. I will see you all soon. Enjoy your studies. Jai Hind.